Hello, everybody. I am Ben Travers, IndieWire's TV critic, and I'm so happy to be here. I don't know about you guys, but it's been 2 years since we've seen Westworld, since we've been back to the park. And I know that it's kind of antithetical to the point of the show, but I really want to go back. How about you? Okay, great. HBO and Westworld team has put on quite a show for you guys tonight, so I'm going to bring everybody out. First and foremost, we have our co-creator, writer, director, executive producer, Liza Joy. Next up, we have the writer and executive producer, Alison Schapker. You know her and love her as Dolores. It's Evan Rachel Wood. Everyone's favorite Bernard, Jeffrey Wright. His best friend in real life and on the show, Stubbs, Luke Hemsworth. The unforgettable, perhaps unkillable Clementine. It's Angela Sarafyan. And one of season 4's new additions, Aurora Perrineau. Okay, everybody, thanks for being here. We're going to get through this. We're going to have a great time, and we're not going to spoil anything. It's going to be perfect. It's going to be great. To start with, obviously, like I said at the start, it's been a little bit of some time since we've been back at Westworld, so let's kind of ease people back into it. Evan, Dolores met a rather permanent end at the end of season 3, and yet here you are, and there you were. What can you tell us about how you made your way back onto the show?
I'm not in this season. I'm just here for support. Can I say my name?
Yeah, I guess.
I think that was on the. I think that was on the thing that I could say.
I mean, Dolores is dead.
Yes, Dolores is dead.
But I really like Evan, and it's hard, and she's also kind of clingy. So we had to bring her back. I had to write a whole other character.
Yes.
For this one.
Yes.
High maintenance as she is.
Let's see. She's a normal woman living in a big city, just trying to make it as a writer, and nothing ever happens to her. Really? I think. I think that's all I can say. I don't know.
Can you say if you, when season 3 ended, did you know you'd be coming back? Like with that ending, were you already been assured by Lisa and the team that, this wasn't the end for you?
I was told that Dolores was meeting her rather tragic end in season 3. Had some conversations with Jonah and Lisa, and obviously asked, well, what does this mean? And basically they said, well, yeah, you'll be back next season, and you'll look a lot like Evan Rachel Wood. And that's kind of what I got, and so I figured, okay, I'm coming back, I'm going to look like me, but I'm not me. So I guess we'll see how that works.
I think we promised you no corsets.
You did?
Yeah. Yeah, we were trying to bribe you to come back. We were like, no corsets.
That's not what you promised me.
Exactly. And I didn't have to wear a wig this season, so yeah, it was great.
Wait, I have a question. Can I ask her a question? Because she drops this bomb on me back there.
Oh.
So she's a writer, the coolest profession. Just kidding. And she said that I have hand gestures that I do. I want to see.
Okay, I did base some of my character this year off of Liza Joy. I did.
Very neurotic,
No.
scared, trembling.
No, but sometimes when you're pitching, you do certain movements with your hands, and so. So yeah, when my character this season was sort of pitching ideas, I would sometimes try to incorporate my Liza Joy hand gestures. Not like big ones, just little. Yeah, you do kind of these like subtle things when you're explaining things to people, and it's very passionate. No, it's not like a bad thing. It's just an observation.
Just a little pepper.
I didn't want to make you self-conscious about it. Yeah. Never.
We've solved the mystery. It's now canon. You do not do hand gestures, so we can move
Yeah,
forward.
so-
Jeffrey, I have to ask about Bernard. I feel like he's one of the. Obviously, all the characters of this show have been through quite a bit, but it feels like Bernard has really been put through the ringer season after season. Heading into season 4, where was your kind of mind space? Like, where did you kind of picture Bernard at, mentally, and what were his kind of ambitions, or what was he thinking about at the end of season 3 when he talked about going back to Westworld?
Not a lot.
What was that? That's for you, Luke, to answer. Please. Well, it's all a rabbit hole inside of a rabbit hole, and Bernard is, he's going Alice again, At the end, I think for the audience and for me as well, and for him, which is kind of like the meta side of our show, it was mystery. It was a mystery as to where he was going, what he would find, and how if he did emerge, how he, where he would be when he did that. So, yeah, a lot of unknowns. And dusty. Yeah, a lot of dust and a lot of mystery. Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much my life. Yeah. I think all of us can appreciate that these days. Yeah.
Dry and dusty.
There you go. Just maintaining. Getting there. I'll be all right. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, that's great. That was perfect. And it leads nicely into, I wanted to ask Luke and Angela, obviously Stubbs and Clementine have a bit of a history, and their characters have, also gone through quite a bit. And Stubbs in particular kind of carries a lot with him, especially during season 3. He had some difficult thoughts and was planning on some difficult things. Can you two talk a little bit just about the evolution of your characters over the first few seasons, and as we're getting ready for season 4, kind of where you think they're at and what you think has been going on with them?
Yeah, I'll speak first.
Do it.
I usually
Do
do. I feel like as the seasons went on, Stubbs knew less and less about every situation he found himself in. And to his chagrin, Bernard was never willing to release even a tidbit of information that might help Stubbs along the way.
Gave you as much as you can handle, though.
He left me
Gave you as much as you can handle.
It's all for your own good, son.
That's right.
Left in the bath to my own devices.
You needed that. You needed a good bath.
Thought I'd just leave the dust on him for a good few years and see where we pick up,
And away we go.
That sums it up pretty perfectly. Please, Angela, what about you? What about Clementine?
Well, in season 1, I guess we had something together, right, Luke? You shot me.
I did shoot you, yes.
Didn't like that.
But because you're a robot, you don't die.
But I felt the pain.
Yes. Well, it was well placed.
Was it?
Straight to the heart.
Right.
Yeah.
Dead. And then in
Love, maybe.
Death and Love.
Death and taxes.
Well, we'll see. But in season 2, I was lobotomized. And I
Been
guess
through a
I
bit. Been through a little bit.
No, we just realized that the only scenes we done together? You're not talking.
No.
You've done scenes, but never spoken to each
We've
other.
never spoken to each other. And then season 3, I got to kick some ass. Thank you. That's all I can say.
Makes perfect sense. Makes
You're
perfect
really good at kicking the ass.
Lots of ass kicking.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I like doing it.
All right, well, Aurora, this is it. This is the moment that you've either been dreading or looking forward to, where you're finally asked about Westworld in front of a group of people and have to speak on the record about your character. You're a new addition. You can't spoil anything. Don't give anything away. Your creator is right here.
Tell us about it, but don't say a thing.
Right. This is it. This is the moment. Everybody
Aurora,
here's going
Aurora,
through it.
I'll just say Aurora kicks ass too.
She's way better than Jeffrey.
Hi, I'm Aurora. I can't even say my character name, can I? No. It's great to be here. And I'm having a great time. It was a really fun time.
Tell them how good my dad jokes are.
I think you passed. I think you did. Lisa, she did
it.
great, right? That was wonderful.
Yeah, you're like a seasoned Westworld pro with that. Just good deflecting.
Just say
Reveal absolutely nothing.
All right, well, Lisa, Alison, what can you tell us about some of the characters who aren't here, some of the actors who aren't here? Obviously, Aaron Paul isn't here. Thandiwe Newton isn't here. What can you say a little bit about their characters going into season 4 and kind of where their headspaces are?
I like to give the hard questions to Alison. So, would you like to answer this one?
I mean, I'll start with one. I'll say Maeve, who we left. Yeah, she's somebody else who's going to kick a lot of ass this season, I think. That kind of show. Yeah, that kind of show. I think, some of her thematic questions are, Dolores freed everybody in season 3, and is that going to last? And we pick up a few years later, and if Maeve has to, what would you say, Lisa? Pick a side? What will she do? And so she's on a warrior's journey, I think.
Nice.
How's that?
I was going to start screaming if she gave any spoilers. I was just going to scream as loud as I could. No, I mean, I think, we last saw Maeve and Caleb ready to kick some ass, and the whole city exploding as they dismantled Rehoboam. And then when we find them, it's over 7 years later, and each of them has gone on with their lives in their own way. And the world has been freed by sweet, dead Dolores. Yeah. And the question is, are the hosts still around somewhere? The answer to that is yes. That's a spoiler. But it would hard to do this show without hosts. And the question is, can they find a new place in this world? Can hosts and humans interact peacefully? Will they stay undercover? What's going to happen? And Caleb, having been through hell and back for 7 years, we find him to be a bit changed as a man, a bit haunted. And we'll see where that takes him.
Aurora, all right, you did it. You made it this far. What can you tell us about what it was like walking onto set and joining this show and getting into this cast and really just kind of, throwing yourself into such a big established world?
I was actually really scared, and then I got to set, and Jeffrey and Luke were making jokes, and I was like, oh, everybody's nice, everybody's cool. And Lisa was great, and Alison was great, so it was honestly one of the nicest sets I've ever been on, and really fun to jump in.
And, your character there, very cool.
You want that?
Yeah,
Here's
deserves
that
a round of
for-
applause. Like getting ready for that scene with these two guys, like did you get to rehearse? Did you get to talk through it? Did you just jump right in? Obviously them cracking jokes helps make you, feel good and sink in, but what was it kind of like?
It was more like I was sitting there, it was like 115 degrees out, and I was sweating, and then I was stress sweating, so it was just like double sweat. And then we just did it, and that was it. That was pretty much it.
Well, No, Luke, go ahead.
Oh, no, you think she was sweating.
Well, in that regard, I mean, it sure looked like Stubbs was letting Bernard do a lot of the work in that first clip that we saw. Could you talk a little bit about their dynamic right now? Is that how it tends to go?
It's all part of Stubbs' plan. He's actually a master manipulator. I hope I said that right.
And is Bernard happy to do it? Is Bernard? I mean, obviously, it's nice to see him, kick a little ass himself and really own that scene. But does he wish Stubbs would come help him out? It's his buddy. He should be there.
It's all a part of Stubbs' plan. It's all working out beautifully. I don't know. There's from the start of the series between Stubbs and Bernard, there's been a kind of curious relationship, and it's developed over time. It's at times contentious, at times ironic, but ultimately there's something, and I think we explore it in this. There's something really, really genuine, and it's not easy, but there's something that approaches like the heart of what the host aspiration is. There's something really good there at the core. Maybe we get into a bit of that as we go on. So I don't know. Bring on the violins.
That's the most beautiful thing you've ever said.
Well, only in public. In private, it's a whole nother discussion.
Lisa and Alison, obviously, these two have such an incredible dynamic together. Is that something that you look for as the seasons, like as you're, shooting the early seasons, you're looking for those dynamics, and then you want to keep writing toward that as the series goes on? And how did you want to kind of develop Bernard and Stubbs' relationship?
Just passing it to me. Well, I think we have this kind of idea of where we want the mythology to go, but along the way, it's been years that we've been working together, and this group is decades. Jeffrey said I'm going gray right before this panel, so I feel really confident right now. But anyway, so yes, we've grown gray together apparently. But no, I mean, as you get to know these incredible talents, as you get to know what they're capable of, actors more and more, it's continually astounding. And then you also get to know them as people and how absolutely wonderful they are. And you see different nuances to their personalities that you just want to exploit along the way. So much of the fun is getting to work with these characters that, it starts on the page, but once you've seen it brought to life by these actors, they just inspire you. Like it's a kind of iterative process, and you write to the magic that they bring. And I've always shipped Stubbs and Bernard. I think they're great. They're like a great buddy team. I love them.
The ominous quiet after that comment was a little better. One thing I wanted to ask about was season 4 really sees you go to even more, kind of grand, big locales. You shot in New York City, you shot in Cabo, Big Bear, and then also at the Hoover Dam. And I mean, you guys have obviously gone to some amazing places in the past, but the Hoover Dam was something where I was just like, how do you even write to that, and how do you make a request to shoot there? What was that process for you like? Like, why? Like, how did that kind of come up for you and be like, wow, okay, I guess we're gonna go shoot our show at this giant landmark?
To be honest, we were very surprised they let us. We were like, this would be an epic place to film. And a landmark like that, when we're dealing with a certain amount of futurism, you want to look for the places that endure, and something like the Hoover Dam endures over time. To be honest, as we went there, we also saw the things that change, like the watermark in the Hoover Dam has dropped precipitously. It's actually astounding and somewhat horrifying. But the idea that the water power of the Hoover Dam might be used by certain figures in Westworld in the future for some data storage was appealing. I just honestly cannot believe they let us shoot there because it was a pretty epic sight.
And blow it up as well. That was fun too. Yeah, right.
It was kind of rude of you. Like now nobody can go see it, but hey, it's for the show. I'm sure.
Oh shit! It doesn't get blown up.
At least you recorded it beautifully before it was gone. Over the years, like the marketing and kind of the extraneous elements around the show have gotten to be so intricate and so cool and so fun to see come to life. Like obviously the installation just outside with a coffee cart and everything walking around. They built an entire Westworld here at South by Southwest not that long ago. What's it been like to kind of take part in that side of it? Like, how exciting is it for you to kind of see what you've written come to life in the screen and then be able to see it, so much of it out in the world, and the fans obviously contribute to that too?
I mean, it's an absolute privilege, honestly. I work with Noreen O'Toole, Hallie Phillips, and Athena Wickham at Kilter, and they are a huge part of this collaboration and spearheading the marketing efforts, along with our incredible team at HBO and the support of Warner Brothers. And when we stepped into Westworld here in Texas, it was so crazy. And the craziest part about this is Evan, because, okay, so we walked in there, and it was first season, so we walk in with Evan and James, and James is getting mobbed, like crazy mobbed. And I'm standing next to them, and Evan is wearing glasses, and no one recognizes her. They're literally like pushing her aside to be like, there's James, oh my God. And I'm looking at Evan, and she's like, yeah, that Clark Kent shit, it never made sense to me, but now it does.
Real thing.
That's great. Evan, do you have any comment there? Do you have any
She's right.
things to share?
No one stopped me. I just walked right through, and I just said I never get recognized on the street because I have long blonde hair now, but I didn't, and I'm not in period clothing, and so no one ever knows it's. No corset, no nothing.
Look for the girl in glasses.
The orange.
Shoes. Lady in there.
Okay, well, I think we're going to get to audience questions here in just a second. But the last thing I wanted to ask about was going back a little bit to locations, just really quick. Obviously, Los Angeles was a big part of season 3, and designing that into the show was really important and integral to what happened. But New York City seems like it's a little bit of a thing here. It definitely has a new look to it. Do you want to talk a little bit about why we've gone coast to coast?
Evan?
I don't know. Why did we go to
Well, there's a girl named Christina, and she's wonderful, and she's just trying to make it in the big city, and that big city looks somewhat like New York. Yeah. And you have a job, you're this writer, poor you. You date. How are those dates you go
I got a
on?
desk job. I'm dating. It's slim pickings out there. I think we all know that.
Yeah.
So it's not going great.
There's a lot of duds.
A lot of duds.
Yeah.
Some good ones.
I guess, maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Possible, but no, for the most part, not great. And
Yeah, Ariana's always setting you up, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we have Ariana DeBose in this season.
Yeah.
My lovely roommate who's always trying to set me up on dates that don't go very well, who may have an unrequited crush on me. I don't know. And we're in New York, and Christina looks a lot like Evan Rachel Wood, and but not as maybe maniacal and violent as Dolores was.
No.
There's a lot nerdier.
Yeah, there's less plundering and murdering.
Yeah.
There's more
a lot more nerd stuff.
dating and writing, and
Yeah.
it was nice to be able to write.
She wears glasses.
Great for the first. Everybody else got to go in the dirt, in the heat, and I'm like, I'm in the studio, in my desk.
Yeah.
You guys do it.
My mom always wanted me to write rom-coms, and this is, I guess, as close as I got.
That's the Stubbs and Bernard part.
You guys are the sweetest couple of Westworld, for sure.
You've lasted the longest.
our secret. Secret to longevity. I'll be taking notes from us.
All right, well, I think we have to do the audience questions now. It's about that time. I got late word that we might have an audience question that was actually live. I know I've got a few that are coming in, like from Twitter, like we talked about, but I was told, yeah, right there in the back.
Is this on? Is it on? Hey. Any chance where you see Teddy return for season 4? I'm a super fan.
Teddy!
Asking for a friend.
What do you think? Do we have a spot?
I mean, we gotta set you up with someone.
I don't know, maybe one of the dates went well.
I'm so excited to be here and tell you nothing about season 4.
Wow, it's James Marsden. Who would have guessed?
Hi, guys.
Okay, well, Lisa, like, what can we say? You're in charge here. Like, is this confirmation, or are we gonna see Teddy or at least James Marsden in season 4?
I mean, once again,
Teddy was a
very.
No, he was just walking past.
I do live here now, so.
You could just be passing through.
I mean, I will say, many a nerdy writer grew up watching some James Marsden films and being like, "Ooh, James, he's so pretty and beautiful and handsome and heroic, oh my God." And dreamt of like, what if I were on a date with a guy who looked like James Marsden? What would he say to me? And I got to write the date. It was amazing. It's almost like by transitive property, James is in love with me, but totally not. So it didn't work out. It worked out for you, Evan, not me, but you know.
I will say that scene was so beloved by all of us on staff that it was never changed from the moment Lisa put it down. It was like a blessed scene that it was just perfect.
But you know, some of the other dating scenes, the guys would be like, "That's not like a date. Dates aren't like that. Men aren't like that." And I'd be like, "Yes, they are. They are."
This is a transcript.
Okay, well, James, what can you tell us a little bit about, just from your end as an
Nothing.
actor? I know we can't talk about the show, but I mean, obviously, season 1, you're a series regular. Season 2, there's a lot of flashbacks to Teddy, but then season 3, you're just not there. You're just gone.
Yeah.
How did you always know you were coming back for season 4? How did you hear? What happened for you?
Well, sometimes you have to go away to come back. We learned to speak cryptically on this show. No, I mean, this has been 7 years of our lives in a great, wonderful family, as evident tonight. You can see us all up here having a good time. Yeah, it's an amazing thing to be a part of, a cog in this beautiful storytelling wheel and see where it goes. And you never really know where it's going to go, but you have ideas, and we discussed at the beginning of the season, sort of the arc of the season. And but from the beginning, I didn't know, I didn't know really where it was all going to go. But I'm very happy that it's ending up where it is. Is that vague enough?
No, that's perfect. That's exactly as vague as it should be.
Only 75 minutes to go of this.
All right. Well, we do
love to spin a yarn.
We do have some actual audience questions. I know James had a great one, and that
It's Ed Harris.
was going to be hard to top. But we had a question from Christian to the actors. How did you manage acting in many time frames at once, keeping separate the character's development at one point from another? And I guess that's for anybody who has an answer to start with.
How do you manage it?
I've played a few people on the show, I guess. I don't know. I mean, like, every time we come in to do a new season, it's sort of like you kind of are wiping the board off and starting over almost. And like I always take bits and pieces from the original, but you know, it just kind of always sort of evolves. But how do we keep track? I don't know. I don't. Sometimes I have come to set more than once and said, probably to you, what episode is this? Thank you. Okay. Like we just sort of kind of ask each other so that Lisa and Jonah can't hear us. What timeline is this? Okay, thank you, dear God. Okay. That's how you keep track.
That's usually after we've asked Lisa and Jonah 2 days worth of questions, and we still need a couple more answers.
Yeah.
So we one another.
Yeah.
And Evan really knows. Evan's always way ahead of everyone.
Not anymore. I'm off the rails
At
now.
least he pretends
I
to be.
was, and now it's whew, I'm gone. I don't know what's going on anymore.
She's the repository.
I can't
for
predict anymore. But
all
like
the known things.
we've all just got like our kind of core characters that sort of just kind of keep blooming. They're like little lotus flowers. We just kind of keep adding little things to them and different shades, and we just kind of grow with them, I think.
I also think too that
There's like, I mean, I have to say there's a degree of trust that has developed over the years. And whereas, you know, in the first couple of years, like, you know, there's really like kind of mining down through, which was necessary to understand. But now we're like, okay, you know, that's the wave, you know, just ride it, you know, and trust it. And it's kind of a rare thing. It's a rare thing, and it's an incredibly valuable thing in the work that we do. Because we have a good time, and it's all that, but there's not a lot of instances, or not the majority of instances that we work in where there's like kind of a trusting environment, and this is one of them, you know. And so we trust in our Lisa, our Jonah, and we, you know, it's been good. It's been good. Yeah. And you also realize that with our show, there's so many like mirror reflections that things as the hosts and the humans are distinct entities, species. The timelines are distinct. The audience is watching. We're telling the story. They're taking it in. But at the same time, there's not so big a difference between all of these things. That there's a core line, through line of kind of commonality between everything. And so you realize that, yeah, okay, this makes a kind of sense because we're all in this shit together, no matter where you are in it. So, yeah, there's that too, I think.
He's just saying nice things because he said I had gray hair. Still really upset.
Well, it was a very nice thing, so I think that's what really matters. Our second audience question comes from Joshua. Thank you, Joshua. How much do y'all know about your individual characters' twists going into a season? And he has an example for Bernard being a host in season 1. Was that something you were aware of, and when did you kind of get to become aware of that? And
Still mad at you.
yeah.
I didn't know.
Evan thought she knew everything. She did not.
All those scenes together, I had no idea. You're just snickering over there.
She sent me a text after that episode came out. I think it was episode 7. She's like, "Dude, what? What?" I did. We shot the pilot in 1834, and when we came back after the Civil War to revisit and start the season in earnest, Lisa pulled me into her office and dropped the bomb on me that, you know, I wasn't the man I thought I was. But no one else knew. So we all had our secrets. We all had and that was mine. And so it was useful for me to know because it made sense of certain of the choices, the constructs that we were using, the relationship with Evan, with Dolores, made sense if there was a kind of duality there. So, yeah, but I didn't know at the start, but I knew, pretty soon after. And I guarded it very, very, very. It was a fun one. It was cool. Blew my mind. The funny thing was, though, that when I signed up to do the show, when I said, yeah, this is really cool, I had spoken with Jonah Lisa couldn't be bothered to speak with her. But I Zoomed with, I guess, we got on, I guess we were Zooming then, and spoke with Jonah and, talked about what, we would be doing and the idea, the construct, and, obviously the origin story with the movie, and then sent me the script, and I was like, oh, wow, this is really interesting, just kind of the architecture of the storytelling, and it was clear that all these possibilities were there, and it was really like kind of efficient writing, and it was like, oh, this is cool. So I was like, yeah, I'm on board, and I sent him an email, and I said, yeah, I'm psyched to go on this journey with you in which we discover that Dr. Ford is actually a creation of Bernard Lowe. And he sent me an email back saying, close, Colonel, but no cigar. And I was like, oh, okay. Anyway.
Well, for the other cast members, do you feel the same way? Like, do you feel very comfortable kind of like just being told when the creators, when the writers deem you need to be told certain things? Or do you have healthy conversations? Do you feel like well taken care of, I guess? I feel like this is a great question for Aurora, the new person in the cast. Like, when you joined up, was this something that felt good to you, like right off the bat? Like, did it feel like you're getting everything you needed?
I got a scene to audition, and I didn't know what it was about. And then I got a script like right before, and I was like, oh, okay. And then every time I got a script, it was, oh, that's a surprise. Oh, that's what I'm doing. That's who I am. Okay. But I trusted them because of what I'd seen and everyone that's involved. But yeah, it was definitely a surprise, which was fun and new and very interesting.
I can speak on that because it was always like going on a theme park ride, because you didn't know where you were going to go. And I really trusted Jonah and Lisa probably more than anyone I'd ever worked with about everything, because I knew everything was very meticulous, with reason, and probably beyond my scope. And I just loved being on that ride and finding out what was happening with Clementine in the process. And I grew with her over the years. I changed and evolved and found her to inspire my life. So it was really kind of meta in all these ways. So yeah, I think it is definitely a ride, but it's worked all these years and still does.
I think if you were getting like the bomb dropped on you that, it was something terrible, then you'd all be upset. But, it kind of gets cooler when these things are unfolded, and so you forgive them for keeping you in the dark, But it's also, again, it speaks to the trust, right? It's nice to let go as well. Just go, you guys have got this. We'll be right.
I trust everybody except Luke. I gotta say it. Yes. Aside from that, a lot of trust.
All right, well,
Thank God you're not writing.
we've reached the end of our questions. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. Thank you to the Westworld team. Look forward to season 4 when it hits later this month on HBO.